The Cabinet recently decided to defer to 2027 the implementation of the proposed Grade 6 curriculum reforms originally scheduled to take effect this year under the new education framework. The postponement was announced considering several deficiencies in the reforms. The most notable among those deficiencies was the inclusion of inappropriate website references in the English module. Amid public outrage, the government vowed that the modules would be reviewed, corrected, and reintroduced at a later date. Against this backdrop, various groups staged protests and agitations demanding the reforms be implemented within the current year. Along with these protests, the government ministers conducted a series of district-level conferences to explain and promote the reform process. 2 such meetings were held in Badulla yesterday afternoon and in Nuwara earlier today.
It is true that an issue was identified in one of the modules of the Grade 6 curriculum. We openly acknowledge that an error had occurred. As a responsible government, the Ministry of Education has therefore decided to temporarily step back in order to correct these shortcomings. It must also be noted that this is not the first instance in which an inaccuracy have appeared in a school syllabus or in textbooks. Such issues have been addressed in the past through corrective measures. The ongoing agitation is not driven by the education reforms themselves, but rather by entrenched political practices. Students and parents are being used as a shield to launch attacks against the government, while many of those leading the protests lack a clear understanding of what the education reforms truly entail. Certain religious leaders have also voiced opposition to the reforms. I believe that this resistance may have been influenced by some members of parliament. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand why such progressive and beneficial decisions would be opposed.
However, education professionals and trade unions have raised concerns over government ministers attributing the suspension of the reforms to the opposition, particularly in light of the president's decision that the proposed changes contain significant shortcomings.
There are fundamental shortcomings not only within the proposed reforms themselves, but also in the manner in which the reform process has been managed. In light of these issues, the President has decided to postpone the implementation of the reforms until next year. Against this backdrop, it is unclear why certain government members of parliament are conducting seminars across the country to promote the immediate implementation of these same reforms. Minister Samantha Widyarathne is now attempting to downplay the situation by alleging that the opposition is conspiring against the government. However, we see no evidence to support such claims. We therefore urge the government not to manufacture narratives to obscure the reality of the situation and instead address the genuine concerns at hand. The decision to postpone the education reforms was made solely by the President in response to issues identified within a particular module. Additional concerns had also been noted regarding teacher training and the development of educational infrastructure. Despite this, the Cabinet's decision is now being publicly criticized, which clearly indicates that the government's handling of the situation is exacerbating the problem rather than resolving it.